Hey fellas, it's Formula Chris, back for week 2 of the IndyCar Oval fixed running here. We're at Michigan International Speedway. You can see here for this race I'm starting P3. Gonna try to do the editing of this video a little bit differently this time. We're gonna try to use more off-board footage and highlights of other drivers around the track, showing the incidents. I know there was a few cautions in the previous race that you guys didn't get to see. You didn't really know what was going on. So as we cross the start line here, we've got a few cars starting in the pit lane, which I thought was really weird. And we also got a pretty garbage start, not gonna lie. We're down to P4 already. That guy basically got us before the line. Anyway, still in a pretty decent spot. This is my first time ever running the IndyCar series. So a lot of these tracks that you'll see me running throughout the year, I've never run before. I've just purchased them for this season. Michigan being one of those. So I don't really know the quirks or the tricks of the track, and I'm still very unfamiliar as well with the car. So it'll be a full learning process, us together. We will be learning about the car, about the tires, and we're going to get our first caution of the day here actually on lap 2. We're going to get a really nice off-board of that as, yeah, it looks like the yellow car kind of rode up a little bit high, maybe caught some understeer from some dirty air from the car ahead. And the purple car behind him just kind of followed his line up the track. They both hit the wall, and just a bit of an unlucky incident, I guess. So that's going to put us on to lap 6 here for the restart. Still in P4, still a good place to be. But back to what I was saying about the car and the tires. So I've since watched a few videos and tried to learn a little bit about aero wash, the aerodynamics of these Indy cars, and how to keep the tires cool, or at least not allow them to overheat, which will be a little bit of an issue in this video. And I know in week 1 it definitely was an issue keeping those front right and rear right tires in a good operating window. This track though doesn't seem to be as harsh on those tires, and I found that it was actually easier to run up high as well, as you can see here, kind of up and around the outside of that car into P3. I am in map mode 2, something I didn't explain in the previous video. If you're new to these Indy cars, there's 5 different engine mapping modes. Well, I guess technically 8, but there's 5, and then another one that we'll use mainly throughout the race that you'll see on my steering wheel. So 1 is essentially the highest power output, but also the highest fuel consumption. 5 then would be the lowest power output and lowest fuel consumption, and that 1 to 5 range encompasses like the racing modes. You've got mode 6 and 7, which I don't actually know what they do. I don't use them. And then mode 8, which is like the safety car, completely low fuel, basically like save the engine kind of map mode. So map mode 3 is basically the standard one that we're going to want to stay in most of the time, just depending on the situation, because fuel consumption, as you'll see throughout these races, is a big deal for the Indy cars. And fuel saving is actually how we got our first win of the season. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch the previous video. You'll see we were running map mode 5 basically the entire second stint and just ended up with barely enough fuel. And you'll see me catch a little bit of whatever that was. I'm not sure if that was a bit of oversteer or if I just went up the track a little bit wrong, but we ended up losing a boatload of positions from that little mistake, which is unfortunate, but you know, in oval racing it's okay. You can always get it back, and it actually gives us an opportunity, if we wanted to in this position, to increase the map mode or just get 2 free positions like that, and your safety car is going to come out on lap 12. The second one of the day looks like these 2 cars up in front, which were actually 1 and 2 for a majority of the race, just kind of lost spatial awareness there and ran into each other. It's just a bit of a racing incident, maybe a little bit more on the yellow car there, but I do believe that's going to be both cars out as we get a couple of cars into the pit lane here, which will move us up 1 position from, no, actually a couple positions up into P5. So onto the restart here for lap 15. Another thing about this series is I'm also making these videos to help verbalize the things that I'm trying to learn. So I'm looking for constructive criticism or tips regarding anything IndyCar, anything oval. I feel like on the restarts especially, I'm a little bit far back compared to the car ahead of me relative to other cars in the field, if that makes sense, which does help me avoid any like concertina or rear-ending the car ahead of me, but it also doesn't really allow me to make a run on the car ahead of me into that first corner or also maybe onto the back stretch. So that's something that I need to find a little bit of a happy medium with. So absolutely, if you guys see anything, leave it in the comments and I will implement it. Like I was saying earlier, I am trying to improve my tire saving and just my aero awareness, for lack of a better term. You'll also see me playing with different camera angles like I am here with this car behind me. Just trying to find a style that works best for these videos. I like the off-board. I also liked the kind of recorded in the sim camera angle from the previous video. The best option is probably going to be a mix between those two, but I'm going to need you guys to let me know which one you prefer of the two. So, quit my yapping, we're on to lap 19 here, P5. There's not really been a whole lot that has happened. This track seems to be very drafty, almost like a Talladega or Daytona super speedway. I mean, obviously not exactly quite, but that is, the leaders haven't been able to break away from the pack. We've stayed as like a 5 to 10 car pack for basically the entire race now. And it seems at this stage that getting the strategy right and being at the right place in the right time at the end of the race is what's going to really pay off or allow us a shot at winning this race. And you want to talk about a brown pants moment. My goodness, I thought for sure my race was going to be over there, but luckily we were able to avoid it. It looks like Ronnie here kind of just gets onto the apron a little bit and loses it, which I, maybe have done before. The off-board here, I mean, it's just a very standard kind of spin on an oval track. It's just unfortunate that it happened to him, but it is fortunate that it didn't collect anybody behind him. And, in the car, I thought for sure that that was going to be me. But lap 23 here, we're going to take this opportunity to pit along with most of the field as well, because at this point, lap 23, we've got 37 laps to go to the end, and a full fill-up is going to get everybody, basically, to the end of the race, especially if we end up getting any other cautions. Honestly, I do that all the time, and rewatching it, the funniest thing every single time is the frantic downshifting, trying to get into reverse. Why am I not in first gear coming into the pits? It doesn't make sense, but that does lose us a couple positions just relative to the traffic that was in the pit lane, as well as a few cars staying out. We're going to drop down to P11, which, like I said earlier, in an oval, as long as you're with the lead pack, you still have a shot to win the race. So I'm not necessarily worried here, but I would like to be much higher up in the order than P11. But the nice thing now is at least I've got my stop out of the way, and I know exactly the fuel number that I'm going to need to hit to get to the end. So you can see us running here in map mode 4 on lap 30. We did end up getting a position for something, I'm not sure. But at this point, we're just going to use a lower map mode and try to follow the cars ahead of us. And we're going to get another caution that's going to come out, which will also help our fuel saving efforts here. It's kind of hard to see it from that angle. We'll get another look at it here. But this is going to end up being one of the sadder incidents that you'll probably see for a while, as the car behind drafts up and around. Yeah, I don't really know what was going on there, but anyway, we're going to get a caution, we're going to get a restart here, and a few cars are going to dive into the pit lane, which is going to gift us a few positions because those were mainly the cars that stayed out on the previous caution, and they're going to fall to the back. We're going to move up to P5 here. I really like watching the races in this kind of 8x speed when I'm finished and we're going around the oval. You guys are going to have to let me know if you do or don't like this. Personally, I kind of love it because it's a lot faster and you can see everything that's going on. So if you guys do like this, we could use this speed for a lot of the video. But anyway, yeah, just making a few kind of yo-yo-ish moves from the cars ahead. Like I said earlier, feels a bit like a drafting track. Not in a bad way, but it just is what it is. And we're going to get a nice in-car view here. You can see that I'm in map mode 2 now. With 15 laps to go, I'm up on fuel, trying to push it a little bit more with the cars ahead of me. As the leader, you can see, is way out in front. But not for long, as another caution, like the 4th or 5th of the day, I think, is going to come out. This one is just a bit silly. And you'll see in a few moments just exactly what I'm talking about. As the black car here is going to make a decent move up the inside, but he's going to run up the track as if the purple car's not even there. It ruins his own race and ruins the race of the car behind. A few more cars are going to dive into the pit lane, but at this point now we're gearing up for the final 12 laps of the race, and it's nice that we were able to get all bunched up because whoever was in the lead, I don't know who it was, we're definitely just going to run away with it. And there we go. We got a good start here, and got to make sure I don't pass before the line. I've made that mistake before in an oval, and it cost me a lot. But at this stage of the race, we've basically been running pacing laps behind the safety car for a majority of the race. So you can see that I'm in map mode 1 there. Once we get a cut back to the steering wheel, I'm basically using as much fuel as I can. Eventually, we'll see it, to try to catch up to this lead pack here of 3 that I kind of lost in the melee behind. But we're going to cut ahead to lap 53 here. We're still in P4, slowly catching up to the cars ahead as I get a really good run here. And we're going to get 2 free positions with an incident, as another caution is going to come out, which is going to delay this even further. And a nice onboard of the car that's in P3 is going to kind of give us an idea of what happens here, as the car in P2 loses control a little bit, runs up the track, and the car in P3 tries to come down and avoid him, but is not quite able to do so. That's exactly the kind of aero wash that I just learned about, I'm realizing now watching this back. And here is when it's going to get a little bit more spicy. We're down to the final 5 laps. P2, I definitely am feeling like I have a shot to win this. I've got plenty of fuel. I'm in map mode 1, and I'm a bit lackadaisical on the restart there, which P3 was as well, so no harm, no foul. But I do need to push a little bit to catch up to the car that's in P1. And I'm going to switch to a little bit more of a live commentary here. I've got quite a lot of space behind me, and I'm dumping battery, as you can see there, on the lights near the halo. And we're just going to try to draft up to this guy. I'm hoping that he can pull away and we can make this a 2-car battle, because I feel a lot more comfortable in a 2-car fight than I would a 3 or 4-car fight, especially when it comes to drafting for the win, because people are going to get really aggressive. Elbows out. We're going to get a shot here around the outside. Not quite the kind of line that I needed. Oh, disappeared there for a second, but unfortunately he's right in front of me. But we're going to get a really good run here. I have no battery left. He forces us to the outside. We're going to have to take the high line. And with the cold tires that I have, I'm just not quite able to get enough grip to really power around the outside, despite having the draft and being out of the dirty air. But that's okay. We're still right with him. He's going to force me to the outside yet again. And this time, I'm going to go a little bit deep into the corner, have to lift off more than I would like to. And you're going to see here, that's actually going to, my worst nightmare, invite P3 into the party. So making this a 3-car fight at this point. And he's going to even get aggressive with me and try to dive it up the inside. I'm just staying to the outside, and we're going to get a touch and just narrowly avoid putting it into the wall, which live, I was pretty upset about that move there. It almost felt like he kind of forced me out of the way, because I held my line. He was the one that caught a little bit of understeer and ran up the track. Anyway, it's okay. We're still in P3, and we're still going to get a shot at the leaders here, but my pace is just not quite what it needs to be. I'm able to catch these guys down the straight, so my exits are good, but my mid-corner speed is really suffering, and I'm going to wash out here, and it's basically just going to invite P3 up the inside. And unfortunately, from P2 to P4 in the span of about 1 lap, as we move into the first corner of the white flag lap, the 2 cars in P2 and P3 starting to fight, P1 is going to get a really nice exit off this corner. P1 tries to defend the inside, not quite able to do so, as that blue car that's moving into P1 is going to take the inside. P2, let's see if he can come back down the track. He gets the draft. Is he going to be able to beat him to the line? I'm certainly not going to be there. Weaving. Not quite. And we're going to finish the race in P4. Kind of disappointing considering the fact that we were able to stay. And here's the off-board of this incident. I felt like I held my line really well. I even ran up the track a little bit. Should I have gone higher? That basically, I felt like cost me the win. Maybe. And we're going to get a replay here as well of Mr. Anthony making genuinely a really nice move, I must say, up the inside of whoever was P1 there at the time and making it stick, being able to hold it to the line. And this guy, this Anthony guy, is going to be a recurring theme, I suspect, throughout the season, because as we cut to the division here, you'll see that he's actually just one spot behind me, and he runs in what seems to be like every race of the season. So, but anyway, P5 at the end of week 2, that's exactly where we want to be. And we're going to be back next week for Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Thank you for watching.